back from vacation, and what I've realized is I need to get a few more episodes going. But I really enjoyed the break. This vacation was a relaxing vacation. My wife has introduced me to those, and I can't say I've ever really taken many of those. I usually make myself overly busy on a vacation and then come back more tired than when I left. So this has been a nice change of pace, and I can always do a busy vacation next time, maybe. So this one was nice. My new in-laws took my wife and I on a riverboat cruise on the American Queen. I highly recommend it. Everyone on the boat was extremely professional and courteous. I don't have enough nice things to say about everyone on the boat, from the musicians to the servers to the crew, and just the overall experience that I had on the trip. And for me, being on the river was just so relaxing. I liked hearing the thrum of the engine while we were traveling and just watching the river go by. So it gave me time to relax and reset my brain. And that's why I bring this up. As veterinary professionals, you need to reset. My problems didn't go away from being on this trip. I still have tons of projects at home. My horse is still fat because I don't work him enough. I'm still concerned about business issues, client issues, patients. I still have issues with the government and how they are not helping the veterinary profession. None of those problems went away. But it did give me some time to take my mind off constantly thinking about those things. And I needed that so I could come back and focus on the problems with a fresh mind and perhaps be able to tackle these problems with new ideas that I didn't have the ability to come to before. So don't forget, as veterinary professionals, to take some time away from veterinary medicine. It will make you better when you come back. For clients, don't be upset your vet has taken the time away. Realize they need this time so they can better treat your animals when they come back. Be especially mindful of a single vet practitioner. They get the brunt of taking a vacation. Well, my staff dealt with it while I was gone. People were like, "That's great that he's on vacation, but I need this taken care of now. So who is there?" Well, no one. It's not always possible to get vet coverage. And if you really like your vet and want to support small business, you will respect that. Go where you need to in a true emergency, and bring your patronage back when the vet returns. Because if your vet is like me, my subconscious was working over my break. And now I have all sorts of new plans to make the clinic better, and now that I'm back, I can start implementing those. And for me, I have to say, I also have plans for the podcast. One of the downsides of me, my lifestyle, is I rarely listen to other podcasts. I try, I just never get far. Not because of lack of interest, but rather my schedule always gets interrupted and I get out of the habit. Here's where I want to have a big shout out and thanks to Jamie Jeffers of the British History Podcast. His podcast is what started me on this whole endeavor, and I love listening to his telling of British history. So much that I got to episode 40, and I stopped. A year later, I started from scratch. I got to around episode 40, and I stopped. I don't even know why, I just did. If you have listened to the British History Podcast, I base mine on his in a lot of ways. So why would I stop listening? I don't know. Life, I guess. But on my vacation, I started listening again, and guess what? I've made it past episode 40. I still have a little catching up to do, so we'll see. On my vacation, I also met a fellow podcaster and have started listening to his podcast. Totally different from my normal listens, but I find it very intriguing. Again, that thing I said about needing breaks, I need breaks from my normal podcasting stuff too. So try new podcasts and see what you like. See other perspectives. And I recommend going and checking out my new friend's podcast. Not because it's related to vet medicine, but because he's a cool guy and has an interesting podcast that's totally not related to vet medicine. So take a break from vet talk and go check out When Show Business Married the Mafia.com to find his podcast. But then please come back. So lastly, where are we headed in my podcast? Well, 3 things. First, I think I'm going to get 2 more cattle episodes out, which really talk about the demise of cattle medicine in my region. So, that's sad. But I think a good discussion that explains what is happening to cattle vets over the entire country. Second, I think I'm going to finally get my goat episodes out after years of saying I will. So I think everyone will like that, as it is my most requested one. Third, on the Patreon, I'm going to have special members-only episodes where I review actual cases. I'm going to go through my notes and walk you through the case and what a vet thinks. Maybe show you some times I was clever, and maybe show you some times I learned there are better ways of doing things. And just give a little more perspective on what a veterinarian is thinking in the room and why he is asking a client questions. I want to give some perspectives of what vets are taking away from why clients are making the actions they do. So really, just a discussion. Good for vet students and maybe for clients if they want the perspective from the other side of the exam room. Lastly, if you listen to the podcast When Show Business Married the Mafia, they have a lot of people just talking. I really enjoyed listening to the back and forth that I just can't get on my podcast without more people. So if you know people who may want to be on Vet Talk, let me know, and we can have some more episodes with some more discussions with guests. So that's what is coming ahead. So keep listening, and please don't hesitate to reach out, especially if you have topics you want to hear. I know people are listening. The numbers keep going up on listeners, but I get little feedback, so I don't know if you are enjoying the content or using my voice as some ASMR to help you sleep. Which honestly, either way is fine, as long as you are getting something from it. So thanks for listening, for whatever the reason, and we'll get some more episodes soon. I'm Dr. Nathan. Thanks for listening. I hope our discussions are valuable to you and aid in giving perspective. If you want to contact us, please reach out to theveterinarypodcast@gmail.com. You can find a complete list of the podcast episodes on SoundCloud. If you find this information helpful and want more content, please join our Patreon, patreon.com/theveterinarypodcast. And don't forget to follow our Facebook page, facebook.com/theveterinarypodcast. As always, thanks for listening, and I hope this information is helpful to you. If you do find it helpful, please like it, share it, so other people may find it helpful as well.